Hello friends, welcome back and Merry Christmas. Today I'm going to be making something special for Christmas morning breakfast. Of course, this could be for any time of the year, anything special, but I'm making it for Christmas morning. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a cinnamon roll dough, and I'm making a double batch. And just because I'm going to be making two different kinds. So I'm going to heat up my milk mixture just until the butter is almost melted. I don't want it too hot. Once it's heated up, I'm going to add it to my flour yeast mix, and that's why I didn't want it too hot. I don't want to kill the yeast. And I'm going to incorporate that, and then I'm going to add my eggs. I'm going to get them just incorporated, and then I'm going to pull out my hand mixer and mix it on low just until it's combined, and then I'm going to turn it on high and let it go for about 3 minutes. Okay, you can see how elasticy this dough is. So I'm going to go ahead and add about half of the remaining flour. And this is a good time to take your jewelry off if you're wearing jewelry, because you are going to use your hands. So I'm going to get that mixed in there best I can, and then add the remaining amount of flour. And I am going to try to mix it as best I can in the bowl, and then I'm going to dump it out on the counter and get that flour worked in to that dough. And once I get it mixed in there, I'm going to go ahead and knead my dough for probably between 3 to 5 minutes. I'm really looking for it to be really soft and elastic feeling. Okay, my dough is nice and soft and elasticy, so I'm going to shape it into a ball and put it into a buttered bowl. Cover it and put it in a warm place to let it rise. While it's rising, I'm going to go ahead and fry up some crispy bacon. So I did choose a better quality bacon, and I did sprinkle a little pepper on it too. So I'm going to set that aside. My dough is ready. It's risen. You can see that it's doubled in size. I'm going to punch it down, let it rest for 10 minutes, and then I'm going to dump it out on the counter, cut it in half, and work with half at a time because I am making two different kinds here. So I'm going to roll my dough out, and once I get it to the size that I like, I'm going to use my homemade orange marmalade. So any marmalade would do just fine. Whatever you choose, don't feel like you have to use exactly what I'm using or the amount. So I use the full pint. I'm going to sprinkle on a little bit of pumpkin pie spice. You could also use cinnamon. And I'm going to add my crunchy bacon to that. So I did leave out 2 pieces of the bacon and reserve it for the topping. So I'm going to go ahead and roll my dough up, and I'm going to cut it into, I always tuck the edges in too, that way the filling doesn't fall out while I'm working with it. And I also tuck under that little side piece, that way it doesn't stick out while it's baking, and just it kind of dries it out if it does that. So okay, so I'm going to work on my second batch here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to roll out my dough until it gets to the size that I want, and then I'm going to use some softened cream cheese. Now this has no sugar in it, and I wouldn't suggest putting sugar in it. It doesn't need it. It's got enough sugar on other parts of this, so I'm going to use some cherry pie filling for this as well. So you could use a jam if you want, but I would really suggest trying the pie filling. This is a little, and I did use the entire can and a full package of cream cheese. So this is a little tricky to roll up, so you kind of need to lift and roll because all that filling wants to come out. But yep, definitely tuck the sides in for this. Cut your pieces and place them in here, your baking dish. I normally with cinnamon rolls, I would put them further apart, but this when you keep them closer together like this, they are going to rise, and they're going to rise a little bit more when they bake. So they will be pushed together, and it does keep them very moist like this. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and cover both my dishes, let them rise. Once they've risen, I'm going to add just a little bit of heavy cream on the top of each roll. On both batches, I do this, and then I'm going to go ahead and put them in the oven. So while they're in the oven, I'm going to go ahead and make a cream cheese frosting, and I'm going to take a little bit out of the bigger bowl and add just a little bit in a second bowl, and I'm going to add a little milk to that marmalade jar, the leftover marmalade that was in that jar. I'm going to swirl it around and get all the bits out and add it to the littler bowl, and that's going to be just a very light glaze for my marmalade bacon rolls. So I'm going to drizzle it on there, and then I'll sprinkle on the reserved bacon on top. This one is just such a good breakfast. It's sweet and salty at the same time. It's so good. So the second batch, the cream cheese and cherry, I'm just going to go ahead and add the cream cheese frosting a little bit thicker. It's like a softer glaze. Now, you guys go ahead and put whatever kind of topping on there that you want. I like just a little bit of a glaze on the marmalade bacon and a heavier glaze on the cream cheese. I'm not the kind of person that likes a thick frosting on it, but if you do, then by all means do that. So these are both so amazing, and if you have guests for Christmas, this is a special Christmas morning breakfast treat. So you guys have a very Merry Christmas. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.